More Filipinos test positive for the UK coronavirus variant. The IATF is drawing flack for its decision to ease restrictions for kids 10 years old and above. Health Secretary Francisco Duque is urging the president to get publicly inoculated to boost people's confidence in the vaccines. Meanwhile, the first shipment of the Sinovac shots may arrive in the country later than expected. And a low-pressure area is bringing Luzon its first rainy weekend of 2021. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day this Saturday, January 23rd. I'm Riza Diaz. The Health Department confirms that there are now 16 people in the country who have the UK variant of the coronavirus. Bontoc Mayor Franklin Odsi earlier reported that 12 of these new variant patients are from Bontoc Mountain Province. He assures that contact tracing and investigations as to the patient's travel history are now underway. 2 other patients who have the new variant are returning overseas Filipino from Lebanon. Meanwhile, the remaining 2 patients are local cases from La Trinidad, Benguet, and Calambas City, Laguna. Both have no contact with any confirmed case and no travel history abroad. The DOH calls on LGUs to ensure strict monitoring and compliance to quarantine protocols in their localities. The Health Department also reminded the public to strictly observe minimum public health standards at all times. Now, apart from the new variant cases, more than 2,100 new COVID infections were recorded yesterday, the highest daily rise recorded in over 2 months. This brings the country's case load closer to 510,000, of which around 23,000 are still active. 20 new COVID-19 fatalities were reported yesterday, pushing the country's death toll to over 10,100. And finally, total recoveries now stand at around 467,700 after 250 more people have recovered from the disease overnight. Now, overseas, the Foreign Affairs Department is seeing yet another surge in OFW infections. With 127 new confirmed cases, the total case load for Filipinos abroad has now exceeded 13,700. Out of these, about 4,000 are still active cases. No new deaths have been logged among OFWs since January 20. Now, health experts warn that the easing of the age-based restrictions in MGCQ areas may cause a spike in the country's infection rate. Jenny Dongon with a report.
Starting February 1, those aged above 10 to 65 will now be allowed to leave their houses. The Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases has just eased its age-based restrictions, but only in areas under Modified General Community Quarantine or MGCQ.
Sa mga lugar na GCQ or General Community Quarantine, hinihikayat po natin na sana po payagan na rin lumabas yung 10 to 65. Pero uulitin ko po, decision pa rin po yan ng mga lokal na pamahalaan.
The palace says this move will help the economy to slowly recover after months of lockdown. The Health Department reiterates the need to strike a balance between health and the economy.
As long as we continue to implement and comply with the minimum public health standards, kahit naman anong age siyang lumalabas, no, as long as compliant tayo, we are protected and we are assured na yung infection risk would be very low.
But for Marikina City Mayor Marcy Teodoro, this is not yet a time to ease age-based restrictions. Marikina may still be under GCQ, but it's the nearby province of Rizal is already under MGCQ.
Hindi maging ligtas yon para sa lahat ng LGU. Hindi namin papayagan ang mga na manggaling sa ibang lugar at dito pupunta yung mga 10 years old o yung mga bata, dahil ang Marikina katabi ay Rizal, sa Rizal nasa MGCQ, Pero ang Marikina ay GCQ, hintayin natin na maisagawa natin yung vaccination program natin para ma-achieve muna natin yung tinatawag na herd or population immunity.
The UP Octa research is also against the move. They say easing age restrictions can affect the trend of COVID-19 cases in the country.
Given the paucity of data with regards to the UK variant, the more contagious UK variant, we should forego any drastic policy changes as far as our vulnerable groups are concerned.
Interior Undersecretary Martin Dino said cities and barangays will just have to follow the law and strictly implement health protocols in their areas.
At talagang marami ding magulang naman ang ayaw naman na palabasin talaga yung anak nila. Dahil nga merong lumabas na naman na bagong strain. Ayan ang tinadahanan ng batas, sundin natin. Ang gagawin lang ng barangay ay i-monitor natin yan.
For now, the Octa research said it will monitor the impact of the eased age restrictions on the case rate over the next 2 to 3 weeks. They are also urging the youth as well as their parents to strictly follow health guidelines. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
Now we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Health Secretary Francisco Duque says he will do his best to persuade President Duterte to receive his COVID-19 vaccine in public to boost Filipinos' confidence in the shots. This as presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said that Duterte will be inoculated in private. He said it was unnecessary to allow the public to see him receiving his vaccine. However, during the state inquiry into the government's mass vaccination plan, Senator Nancy Binay cited a recent survey showing that 47% of Filipinos are not willing to get COVID shots. Binay then asked Duque if he is willing to convince President Duterte to be vaccinated in public to boost the people's confidence in the vaccines. Duque said he will try his best to appeal to the president, but added that at the end of the day, they will have to respect his decision. Now, as the Senate continued its hearing on the government's vaccine procurement plan, it was revealed that the first batch of Sinovac shots might arrive in the country later than projected. Mian Los Baños with this report.
The country's vaccine journey has been anything but easy. And now, after all the talks and debates, even the government-favored Sinovac shots from China may also be delayed. In today's Senate hearing on vaccine procurement, lawmakers leave it up to Galvez as to when the details of the transactions with the Chinese vaccine maker will be released. After all, Galvez insists on upholding the non-disclosure agreement with Sinovac.
We came across information for the necessity of the non-disclosure agreements. So we are assured by Secretary Galvez of the utmost transparency, and I'm sure we can look into the negotiations at any time. All our negotiations are above board and will be free from corruption, and we will make our reports to you, Sir President, regularly, sir. We promise to reveal the exact prices and other details of our negotiations in due time.
But all that initial misunderstanding and reconciliation may be for naught. Sinovac's shots are in danger of not making it to the country by February 20. While the pharmaceutical company has submitted its Phase 3 clinical trial data to the local Food and Drug Administration, it has yet to secure an emergency use authorization from stringent watchdogs such as the US and UK FDAs.
For in this type of case, gaano po katagal yan? Katulad po nung mga meron ng US FDA, UK FDA, kaya po ng mga 2 weeks yan, 1 week, and then interim question and answer, and then another week. Pag po ganitong medyo mas mabusisi tayo, of course, it might extend a little longer. By February 20, padating na ho yung Sinovac, or at least it's part of the package na dadating ho dito. Kung 2 weeks to 3 weeks po approval, hindi ho aabot yung authorization. Ibig sabihin, dadating na ho dito yung vaccine.
With a possible delay, Galvez says Sinovac's delivery may be pushed back from February 20 to the end of next month. But what's sure is that the dry run for vaccine delivery will proceed next week.
Lahat po ng vaccine na pupunta po dito sa bansa, kailangan po selected po ng ating vaccine expert. At the same time, it is approved by the FDA. So kung meron po tayong delivery na February 20, it will be delayed until such time that the FDA approval has been cleared.
As for the varying efficacy rates of Sinovac in different countries, the FDA explains that its vaccine trials had different target populations per country. Director General Eric Dominguez says that in the case of Brazil, trials were made on healthcare workers with high exposure to COVID-19, while other countries tested the general population.
Maaring gamitin ito sa mga community na mababa ang transmission, pero hindi siya para sa mga health worker na very high risk. So ganun po ang ating mga nagiging pag-aaral. Pero yun nga po, hinihintay ko pa rin po talaga yung evaluation ng experts natin.
And despite the shots coming from China, Galvez insists there will be no compromises when it comes to the country's stake in the West Philippine Sea. But he says maritime issues should be set aside for now in order to save humanity. He also urges lawmakers to pass a law to fast-track the procurement processes, particularly on vaccines. The current procurement law, he says, paved the way for other countries to procure shots ahead of the Philippines. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
A low-pressure area in the northern part of Luzon is bringing scattered rain showers over the region. Let's find out if this is something that we expect for the rest of the day. We have on the line with us Pag-asa weather forecaster Raymond Ordinario. Mr. Ordinario, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Ms. Risa.
Sir, are we expecting this bad weather for the entire weekend?
So, right now, the cloudy conditions will persist over Cagayan Valley area and some parts of the Cordillera until tomorrow. And generally, improving weather condition over the Ilocos area is expected within the day.
Sir, what are the affected areas of the LPA?
So this LPA doesn't really affect any parts of our country right now, but the tail end of the frontal system is really bringing some cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over the regions in the northern Luzon area.
Do we expect this LPA, sir, to intensify into a tropical depression?
So right now, it is a very slim chance of development, and we are also expecting some dissipation scenario for this LPA, since this LPA is now following the path of the tail end of the frontal system that is now moving northward towards the Taiwan area.
Sir, how will the weather be like for today for here in Metro Manila and the rest of the country?
So here in Metro Manila and for the rest of the country, we're going to expect a generally fair weather condition aside from some isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms. So meaning to say, we're just going to expect some brief rain showers today for the rest of the country. So it's a good weather for us to do some outside activities.
Finally, should we see, sir, the temperatures warming up soon due to the weakening of the northeast monsoon?
So right now here in Metro Manila and the rest of the southern Luzon down to Mindanao area, we're going to expect a generally warmer condition over the next few days. And by the following next weekend, we're going to expect another surge of a northeast monsoon that will affect most parts of the Luzon area. So right now, we're going to have a warm weather over the next week, then another cold surge again will be expected on the weekend.
All right, thank you for your time. That was Raymond Ordinario, Pag-asa weather forecaster. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.